in the great and in the dark. Said a man whose head was halfway eaten by a shark. You might ask me why I would continue on like this. I doubt that I would know. I can only make a guess. Half a mouth may not be much, but it's still half a kiss.
Začalo to vlastně někdy v roce 75 nebo 76, kdy jsem poprvé na magnetofonu B42 slyšel nahrávku The Residence. Tehdy jsem vlastně nevěděl, o co jde, protože moje kamarádka, která mi to pouštěla, říkala, pustím ti nějakou skladbu a jestli uhodneš, co to je za kapela. Já jsem tehdy tak uvažoval, že jestli to je třeba Janáček, naopak jestli to není nějaká hádanka, prostě, že chce pustit Janáčka pospátku nebo něco podobného. Ohromně jsme se přitom bavili a pak ona říkala, no, to byly The Residence. A od té doby vlastně jsem Residence sledoval a byli vždycky pro mě jakýsi příklad toho, jak lze v tom světě showbiznesu taky dělat něco nekomerčního a bizarního a přitom být úspěšný. Někdy v roce 1993 jsem byl v San Francisku a zase to byla kamarádka, která říká, a nechceš se podívat, kde sídlí Residence? Tak jsme tam šli a domluvili jsme se, že by možná bylo dobře něco udělat pro Prahu, kde Residence nikdy nevystupovali a přesto byli velice populární. No a takhle vlastně vznikla myšlenka představení pro divadlo Archa. Ty přípravy trvaly prakticky 2 roky, kdy jsme si korespondovali a kdy Residence několikrát tajně přijeli do Prahy a taky jejich reprezentanti představili jejich CD-ROM tady a my z těch jednání jsme teprve vytvořili projekt. Zpočátku vlastně jsme ani neuvažovali o tom, že by se to týkalo freak show, tehdy se uvažovalo o jiné, vlastně jakési anti-heavy metalové opeře a později jsme tedy zvláště po tom, co Freak Show měla tak obrovský úspěch jako CD-ROM, jsme začali uvažovat o scénické podobě Freak Show.
shows constantly touring America. These freak shows glorified and romanticized human deformity by exhibiting certain individuals afflicted by disease, birth defects, or accidents as freaks. These traveling freak shows may not have been the perfect solution to an imperfect situation, but at least they offered these unfortunates a good income and camaraderie of their own kind. In these more enlightened times, modern medical science has eliminated most of the human oddities either through abortion or corrective surgery. When these curiosities do manage to be born or created through accident or disease, society has decided that it is wrong to exploit these people, and perhaps that is a noble attitude. But perhaps, too, it is a denial of the ugliness and deformity that we normal people feel within. In an increasingly homogenized and conformist culture, we have become afraid of the distorted reflection we see in freaks, and at the same time, we deny them the ability to exploit what may be seen as their only gift. We may no longer condone exhibition of human oddities, but the freaks still get stared at. The only difference is they no longer get paid for it.
I think the residents got interested in the idea of the freak show from several different points of view. One, the real freak show. Obviously what we have here is a fictitious freak show, but the real freak show was dying out. It was still there, but it was dying out when the residents were, teenagers, like in the 1950s and 1960s. And so they went to real freak shows. They saw some of the characters that are in this residence freak show, things like in the historical section we have Grace McDaniels, the Mule-Faced Woman. There's another one called The Lobster Boy, Grady Stiles. These people were actually seen by the residents at the Louisiana State Fair out on the Midway. And so this made a really strong impression with them. Then when you take that and you couple it with the idea of the residents seeing themselves as a traveling freak show when they were touring, that's where the idea really kind of came together, kind of from two different places.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, 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 step right up. Hurry, 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 step right up. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up. Step right this way. Hurry, 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 and you will see on display one of the strangest collections ever gathered together on this planet, both live and preserved. You will see the incredible Jello Jack, the one and only boneless bar.
The project has been evolving. One of the interesting things about this project is that it started in 1989, and this is so far the longest living residence project. I mean, this project has been going on for 6 years now. The first thing was a music album that they started recording in 1989. Then after that, they took the same characters and created a comic book, a graphic novel that came out about 2 years later. Then they took the material from the music album and the graphic novel, they added a lot of original animation, and they did the Freak Show CD-ROM. Now, the Freak Show live show that we're doing here in Prague is based really on the CD-ROM, which is essentially taking all these elements and bringing them together. Now the residents have written a lot of new material that takes all these same characters and blends them together into one continuous storyline in order to do Freak Show Live. One of the main ideas is to create the idea of the difference between public and private personalities. And what we do is we start off inside a tent in what would be seen as the very formal presentation of the personalities of these characters, these freaks. And we label them as freaks. But then what we do in the second half is we go into their personal lives. We go into their trailers. We look at their personalities. We see what their personalities are when they're not on stage. When they're sitting around in their trailer, we look at their personal artifacts, and then we peel away this freak facade that we've given them in the beginning, and then we try to find out who the people are underneath.
Hurry, hurry, right this way to the world's most disturbing collection of human oddities. I am Tex, your host and guide, and this is my cohort, Mickey the Mumbling Midget. Mumble for the folks, Mickey.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Step right up, and you will see on display before your very eyes a collection of some of the strangest specimens ever gathered together on this planet, both live and preserved.
My character is Texas Fritz. He's the beloved owner of the freak show. He's a sweetheart of a man. He controls everybody and keeps them pretty much at his fingertips, and uses each one of them for his own despicable, greedy self needs and stuff. And he also is probably the biggest freak of them all.
Je takovej nedočenej civilizací, to se mi líbí, že prostě věří ještě v takový lidský hodnoty správný, jako v lásku a to přátelství veliký a prostě v ty takový ty rizí mezilidský vztahy. On je takový trošku izolovaný, i vždycky byl a tak se tak chová, no, prostě si vysněl z časopisu, že bude žít s ženskou bojovnicí někde v blátě, teda tou bojovnicí, a tak zatím si jde, to se mi líbí. There's gonna be a thing around every so I jumped out this way, because when I imagined that there's gonna be like a thing like this on each of these bulbs, it would be very hard to get through this.
John? Could you take this question? Singers are doing bounce, Benny, bounce. You're supposed to be gradually coming up closer. Yeah, to get up to the very edge to do your bump reveal right here on the edge.
She's a freak show artist who sucks worms in front of a paying audience. But of course her character's much more complicated than that. She's a former nun who has had an unfulfilled love affair with a priest, and for her the worms take on a much more emotional and religious significance.
One of the residents.
No.
You little crackers collection of magnets you've got on this right now. I would give you a dinner exercise show. Do I make myself clear? But now we all enjoy the appearance of this privileged and fun-looking fellow as he really frolics about on the stage. Once again, I give you the human mole.
Herman Krtek, to je taková vlastně jako zrůda spíš duševní, protože on se jaksi vyčlenil z toho normálního světa, protože sice má určitou jako taky vadu, on je snad albín teda a to prostě mu bránilo v takové normální komunikaci s lidma, bránilo mu to žít vlastně jako ve dne, protože mu vadilo slunce a denní světlo na oči, a takže si zvyk spíš žít tak jako stranou a to se vlastně potom stále zhoršovalo, až nakonec vlastně skončil teda tady v té freak show, v tom obludáriu.
He lets you climb the steps up to the top of trees. Look down to a little hole above the door TV.
Nejste náhodou jedním z residents?
No, teď už po té delší práci neznám přesně jejich záměry, jestli jako ten, kdo s nimi spolupracuje, je vtažen jako taky mezi jejich společenství nebo není, takže nemůžu jako přesně odpovědět, no.
And here is Harry the Head, formerly known as the King of the Freaks. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Harry left us once for a while. Harry left us for love. And if you can imagine a sight more disgusting and despicable, please tell me and I will make a star out of it. Never mind. As I was saying, Harry left the freak show in the arms of a beautiful young woman. Even though this preposterously perverse situation was sick, twisted, undoubtedly doomed from the very start, who could blame him? Harry was such a monumentally miserable half-human that this sober situation was surely his only opportunity for happiness of any kind. It's kind of sad, don't you think?
puppeteers on the inside of this triangular kiosk, and Harry is there, and his girlfriend, Griselda, appears and moves around. The puppeteer manipulates her from inside the kiosk. She meets Harry, and the kiosk revolves. She takes Harry back to his studio. He's a painter, so then we would see Harry over here. And then Harry becomes so annoying to her that she strikes him, and he falls to the ground. The kiosk revolves. Harry's on the ground. And we see Harry, he will paint little angels on her, and she leaves him, and Harry dies, and then the kiosk revolves. And we see the jar, and then Harry will appear in his jar as the preserved state that we know him.
Já jsem Residence poslouchal už tak někdy od 16 let asi zhruba. Pro mě je to pořád jako, čemu bych to připomněl, jako třeba pro někoho je v tom Big Beatu vůbec jako třeba, že je taková kapela, taková ta kapela všech dob v tom normálním Big Beatu, dejme tomu, se někdo považuje Beatles, někdo Rolling Stones, tak pro mě kapela všech dob jako v té alternativní scéně jsou Residence, takže pro mě jsou to takový alternativní Beatles třeba, něco takový, tak v takovém někde v tomto měřítku, nebo ne, já tu kapelu cítím, jako, že samozřejmě to pro mě úplně pořád ještě nepředstavitelná věc úplně, no, co se tady odehrává teď vůbec. Jádro té skupiny vlastně, nebo těch hudebníků, který jsou na tom představení účinkují, vlastně tvoří kapela Usminová, takže tam ten výběr byl daný tím, že teda Residence vlastně si vybrali spolupráci s kapelou Usminová, takže mnou teda zastoupenou, takže tam ten výběr byl jednoznačný a to kritérium bylo znát dobře noty. To bylo takový hlavní kritérium, samozřejmě umět hrát. A to druhý kritérium pro mě teda bylo, že abych ty lidi trošičku znal, nebo abych měl jistotu, že jsou to vlastně lidi, kteří mají i třeba k těm Residence a i vůbec k tomu celému, k tomu směru třeba blízko.
Při spolupráci s Residence, že jsou anonymní a že vlastně nevíš, s kým pracuješ?
Já se cítím jako spolupracovníkem vlastně na nějakém projektu a ten projekt, jako obsah toho projektu je úplně jednoznačný a přesně definovaný a tam nemám vůbec pocit, že bych spolupracoval na něčem anonymním. Vlastně ta anonymita je jenom, jako, co se týče té totožnosti, ale není co se týče vlastně toho obsahu nebo toho díla, který se vytváří. To je úplně jednoznačný a to, o co se jedná, vlastně je freak show.
Ano, to je jenom to. Tada, 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 Jo?
3, 4,
To bylo trošku lepší, no. Co, ještě no? 3, 4. Teď to přesně, tohle je lepší teďko.
Nejsi náhodou rezident?
No, rezident jsou v překladu obyvatelé, že jo, tak jako jsem rezident Prahy, jo, nebo obyvatel Prahy, momentálně původem z Teply, všichni jsou rezident.
Are you the resident? No, but they've been just here. I don't know where they went.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you the resident?
Me? No.
Are you the resident?
I don't know.
How about you?
Whoever could be resident.
Not me.
This is a model of the Arca Theater, and it's a 1:50 scale. And what we're looking at here, you can see these sort of flags that are draped in. Those are over the audience, and they'll make the audience feel as though they're inside of a circus tent. And then right here in the model is the facade, freak show facade, and that sits right in here. And the first act, the freaks appear as a scale of a figure and do their performance as though it were an actual carnival show. And then intermission, the audience leaves and the entire space is rebuilt. All of these curtains are removed, turned around, and there's a night sky. And what we then see are the trailers, the freak trailers, and there's 4 of them. And when the audience comes back in, it's as though we're at night and looking behind the scenes at the carnival. Each of the trailers has a transparent wall, a scrim wall, that allows the audience to see in and observe the show almost with a voyeuristic point of view. We can see people in the trailers going about their lives, and it becomes like the CD-ROM of view into the backstage of the freak show. I think that the collaboration here is very strong. The staff at ARCA is really great, and Mirek Wanek from Uzmidoma, who is the music director here, has worked extremely closely with the residents. The residents, people have a tendency to see the residents as a band, but they're really not a band. They don't read music. They've learned a lot of music over the years, but they don't read music. Traditionally, they could never really play anything. They would just play something well enough that they could record it in their studio. And so the whole idea of being able to create music in a situation where other musicians could come in and actually play it was very challenging. And Mirek has been incredible towards being a sort of in-between step between the residents and the Czech musicians who are playing their score.
They've never done anything like this before. They've done theater projects. But normally their theater projects are tied in pretty closely to their music, and they it would be like their touring shows have always been theatrical shows. They've never done concerts. So, but this is really different because they're not playing any music in this. They wanted to do something bigger, and just if only because of the size of it, they can't really do everything. And traditionally, they always felt like for a project they had to do everything. And so this project has a lot of different people working on it, and it's something that really grew out of the CD-ROM projects they've done because they had to have more people working on those, programmers and designers. So they pulled in a lot of those same people to help do a production like this.
I'm going to take 2 of my Act 1 black lights and put them on the bridge there and there going this way. Yeah, they certainly look cool.
The theater space has been very flexible, very easy to work in. I think we are asking a lot of it. We're asking for it to be more than maybe it was designed to be. I know that there have been some sound problems and some other problems, but these are things you sort of expect when you put a show like this together, and we approach each problem and find a solution and get past it. And Arca has been a great place to build this in.
Excuse me. We can hear some of the valves, you know, the finger movement on the sax. Is there something you can do about that? It's like really loud.
Why did you want to talk to me inside of a Texas trailer?
That's well, you see, I've been working with the Residents on their last tour, and I did a couple of CDs with them, and one of them was the Freak Show, and at the time I was Tex. On the CD, the song is sung by me, and the intro, the hurry 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 bit, is done by me. And I thought, you know, I think Wayne, who's now Tex on this show, is doing an incredible job. And but you know, somehow I just felt like I have to be in this trailer and be Tex, you know, in this interview. It was the only chance I get to be Tex. So, and you know, it's great. It's a great feeling.
Are you a resident?
Am I the resident? Am I one of the residents? Well, I'll tell you that the residents conceived this show. The residents have directed this show in a fashion, and the residents have designed this show. So I am the lighting designer, and you have to make your own decision from there, I think.
Well, I really can't comment on that. Who knows?
No, of course not. No one here is a resident. That's because even if people were, they would say no. So there's no other answer anyone is going to give. Because either people will tell the truth and say no, or you will be talking to someone who's a resident and they will lie to you and say no. So actually it's sort of a waste of time, I suppose.
You think that they wait at every corner? You think that there's 2 or 3 waiting behind every door just for you to knock? It's not the way of the world, Benny. So please calm yourself down and go back into your trailer.
Well, Mr. Texas, since Mama's been gone, I don't have any friends, and it seems like everybody should have a friend, and I know I could be real good friends with the lady wrestler.
No friends?
Let's stop for a second. I mean, I like the way that you're kind of circling around him, and then essentially, I mean, you know, your character is aggressive. You know, he's sort of backing away. What if we exaggerate that even more, and you know, try to back him back over to about here? That way, when you start to leave, you've got more space to cover. Mm-hmm. And we can just maybe we can make that a little more dramatic. The process that has been worked out by the residents is that they are observing everything through television cameras. They have television cameras. In a way, it's almost like they're directing it by surveillance or something. And they have television cameras set up in vocal workshops, in dance rehearsals, and the big rehearsals out here, and so they're constantly monitoring things with these video cameras. And then when they see something that they like or something that they don't like, what they do is they write it down on a piece of paper, and then they send a piece of paper to to the person that is in charge of that particular rehearsal. And usually I have a whole pocket full of these pieces of paper, which I don't really have any, I don't think, in this coat, but they're these red pieces of paper that they use to write all their notes on, and that's kind of the way they direct.
It doesn't bother you that somebody is just sending you notes, or is there some other way of communication?
Well, I've worked with the residents for almost 20 years now, and what you learn when you deal with them is that they give direction. They have specific things that they're interested in, and they'll point you in a direction. But once they've pointed you in that direction, then they give you a lot of freedom to make your own decisions. And once you learn how to deal with that kind of situation, it works pretty well.
Aren't you, by any chance, one of the residents?
No, I would never really do anything like that.
I was the best. The best, you hear? I was the best lion tamer that there ever was.
Big cats. Oh, they hated me. Actually, everyone hated me.
They will hate me again. They will hate me again because I will make my comeback. Ha! They'll see. That's right, Jenny. I'll be bigger than ever. I'll be bigger than ever.
Job, chapter 7, verse 5. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dirt. Rock of ages fall on me, and my sinful soul will be free to flee the boxer. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
See, what the thing with Tex is that he used to be a great lion tamer, and now, since he got hurt, he's left with all these disgusting freaks, and like Herman is basically his lion now that he beats, and which is kind of pathetic. And then Wanda, of course, is sort of like all the freaks to him. She's disgusting, but he's stuck with this show, and he really misses Roxanne, who left him. But Wanda's the only thing, and he hates her, so he kind of wants to be with a woman, but he's disgusted by her, so he's split in this whole thing. He ends up treating everybody, and basically kind of loses it all in the end, really. He's just a lonely guy and kind of left with himself.
Dear Sister Solace, thank you for guiding me on a tour of the mission. The positive effects of your efforts with the infirm and debilitated have inspired my every waking moment since the conclusion of our pleasant but all too brief encounter.
At times I have wondered if perhaps we are not a new Adam and Eve, chosen by God to restore him to the greatness that is his alone. Perhaps it is only you and I who are destined to survive the coming apocalypse predicted in Revelations. And perhaps my folly is so great that I will seize even the slightest and silliest pretense to justify a course of action dead set on the pathway to mortal sin. More than anything else, continually burdened by the sinister specter of Father B. Yesterday morning, as I stepped out of the bathroom, he was waiting for me on the other side of the door. Confused by his sudden appearance, I hesitated, just as he stepped forward and whispered in my ear, "Soon you will be with the world."
Wanda was a nun. The Wanda character enters, and she meets a priest who comes in, and the two of them are very attracted to one another, and they have a chaste romance, and it is discovered by the angry priest who comes in, who shows his displeasure, becomes angry, and an argument ensues, and the priest punches our character. He retreats, and he begins a sojourn, a mountain climb. And then we see our priest climbs the mountain, and he's killed in an avalanche. And we see a screen come down, and he disappears. And instead of the cross coming up, what comes up is a giant tooth, which was knocked out in the scuffle with the priest.
Excuse me, Mr. Texel. I haven't my dinner yet. Please, sir.
Don't bother me, you twitchy little twerp. I need a drink. I'll do it later.
Herman is probably Tex's least favorite character. He's a guy who, it's almost like in certain freak shows they had people who were fakes. If you see one of the pictures, there's a guy with like a chicken feet and a feather, which I think he was a fake. So some of the freak shows had real freaks, other ones had people with, fake glued parts and stuff, different things. I think Herman is one of those characters. He's not a real mole.
You tell me your credit card number and I'll tell you what you want to hear. Come on, shy guy. I'm waiting.
Mastercard number 3, 5, 8, 4, 6, 9, 3, 4, 0, 0, 8, 3, 2.
Good boy. Now, I'm gonna tell you just how my body got so dirty, shy guy. I've been so bad. I got caught in the rain with my boyfriend, and we just had to take our clothes off. Then we were fooling around, and we fell in a giant mud puddle.
That helps me absorb my life. They say, my friends BKS say that one shot of Fernet a day is good for your health. It does help, actually. It does kind of smooth things out. See, and then you get all your food groups. Grapefruit juice, Fernet, and Bukta.
No! Bouncing Benny the Dumpcoff! Where you going, chubby Bobby?
I gotta go, Mr. Tex. There's a lady wrestler out there waiting for me. She's out there somewhere, and I just gotta go find her.
Benny? Your stupidity would make a stump look lucid. You think that the world's overflowing with these huge hammerlock honeys? You think that there's 2 or 3 waiting around every corner just for you to knock? Benny, that's not the way to. Well, now, Benny, please calm yourself down and go back and do your trailer.
Benny is sort of my son figure. He's a guy who I think Tex likes, and he tries to, in Tex's limited way, you know, treat him like a son.
You still there? Then pour me a drink.
Jelly to me is almost like Tex's alter ego, in a sense. He kind of, especially in his little dream state, there's sort of a structure in the piece, I think, where the whole piece shifts after Jelly and people. He's kind of like this almost, you know, angel-like character or something who's talking.
I'm Jelly Jack, the jolly boneless boy. I live inside a jar beside the rooster boy named Roy. They pour me out upon a platform and the people stare at eyeballs in a pool of flesh surrounded by some hair. I wish I was a cowboy or maybe just a bird, singing simple melodies that no one ever heard.
Are you one of the residents?
Wouldn't you like to know? My son. Kdo ví?
Jenom ten, kdo je resident, ví, kdo je resident, a to ještě nemožná přesně.
The Resident?
Yes.
That's a good question. You know, originally, the Residents had a nose. It was like the 5th Beatle. You know, there was another Beatle that used to play. Originally, there was a nose with the Residents, and I played the nose for years, and I just got tired of the humiliation and the constant picking at me and stuff, and so I kind of left the group for a while, and because they wouldn't let me wear the eyeball.
Do you like them?
They're constantly undermining my ability to express myself. There's always some like little note going by, and you always think it's about you because you know that somebody's watching you, somebody's talking about you, somebody's picking at your brain all the time, you know, and if you notice, they don't blink. See, that's the problem. If they blinked, you could slip out and back and stuff, but they're constantly staring at you with this permeating look, grinding down in like the back of your head. When you're sitting in the audience, you'll notice like somebody's staring at you inside the theater, and that's pretty much how they operate. And they're really picking your pockets and your minds and stealing your souls. So once you leave the theater, you'll find that you're probably different. That's how the Residents work.
Is our modern, enlightened attitude actually an improvement over the old traveling freak shows? The Residents, whose interests lie purely in the romantic recreation of uneasy feelings from more innocent times, believe such questions are left best in the hands of sociologists and philosophers. So, turn down your lights, put on your headphones, and go to the freak show. Everyone goes to the freak show to laugh at the freaks and the geeks.
Life is a lot like a freak